Friends, I invite you to join me now in our prayer of invocation. Gracious Creator, your grace extends over all the earth and your love to all peoples. We ask your blessing on everyone who is gathered here this afternoon from near and far. Bless each member of this college community, students, faculty, staff, alumni, trustees, and friends. And in a distinct way, bless our new president. May he creatively lead Davidson in its mission to nurture humane instincts, thoughtful intellect, and steadfast resolve to work for the common good. As we enter this burgeoning chapter of Davidson's history, we're both grateful for all we've been bequeathed, and we are mindful of our wrongs and shortcomings, both past and present. Fill us with humility, hope, gladness, and a determination to be an ever more inclusive, kind, and just community. May the study of liberal arts and sciences be our sure grounding. May a dedication to a quest for truth be our North Star. May the affirmation of each person's dignity and worth be the lamp that guides our steps. May the life of the mind and the life of the spirit, braided together with care for the body, inspire our learning, our aspirations, and our actions. Bowing our hearts and spirits before you, the great and fathomless mystery, the very source of life and truth, we ask you to gather all of our longings, intentions, celebrations, dreams, efforts, and prayers close to your heart of love for all creation. Grant us peace this day. Amen.
Welcome. I am Allison Hall-Mosé, class of 1984, and the chair of the Board of Trustees. I am delighted to welcome you. Yes, please be seated. That was not in my remarks, but we want you to be seated. I'm delighted to welcome you to Davidson College for this historic occasion, the inauguration of Davidson's 19th president. Today, we welcome the extended Davidson community, students, faculty, staff, parents and families, alumni and trustees, delegates from other colleges, universities, and education institutes, representatives from the town of Davidson, representatives from the state of North Carolina, and the broader global community. It is such an honor to have you all here with us today, to be part of this ceremony that reflects such an important moment in the life of Davidson College. Ceremonies like this are significant. They bring people together who care deeply about this institution. They are adorned with pomp and circumstance, recognizing the lasting significance of this occasion. And they connect the present moment to our past and gesture to a common future still unfolding, uniting us in shared educational purpose. An inauguration is not just a ceremony. It is by definition also a beginning, and today's event marks the beginning of new leadership for Davidson, one that builds on past accomplishments while planning and preparing for a bright yet unknown future. Many of you have already had the pleasure of meeting Davidson's 19th president, and I know, like me, you've most likely been impressed by his eloquence and humor, his keen mind and warm heart, his leadership and humility, and his commitment to advancing the unique mission of Davidson College, but also to advocating for the importance of the liberal arts education in the world today. You will hear from wonderful colleagues and representatives during today's ceremony and learn more about President Hicks. And you will hear from him, in his own words, his vision for this college that we love, as well as for higher education. As a community, we have so much to celebrate today. A new generation of leadership, exemplified by our trustees, our Alumni Association board, and our student leaders. A continuing commitment to academic excellence, as exemplified by our distinguished faculty, committed staff, and dedicated students. Davidson's significant and ongoing role in local, regional, and national educational communities, as exemplified by the bringing together of so many people with so many different connections to Davidson in this place today. We have a rare opportunity, an opportunity to think not only about what it means to be a part of the Davidson community, but also to contemplate Davidson's distinctive role in higher education, our traditions, our ongoing work to understand and reckon with our past, our future as a liberal arts college, as an engaged community partner, and as leaders in our professions and communities. Today's ceremony is about all of us, about each one of us. For each one of us has a role to play at Davidson, now and in the future. Thank you for being here to mark this important moment and for being a part of the work that we will undertake together under great new leaders into the future. Thank you.
And now a reading of Psalm 100. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into God's presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is the Lord who made us, and we are God's. We are God's people and the sheep of God's pasture. Enter God's gates with thanksgiving and God's courts with praise. Give thanks to the Lord, bless God's name. For the Lord is good, God's steadfast love endures forever, and faithfulness to all generations.
Good afternoon. President Hicks, trustees, Congresswoman Adams, Mayor Knox, and all friends of this tremendous college and in our great state. I'm proud to be part of this moment in Davidson's history, and I want to congratulate you, Doug, on returning to lead Davidson on its path ahead. You bring to Davidson an understanding of this special community, an appreciation of what the college offers its students, having been one yourself, and a commitment to the community around us in the state. I also understand, Doug, this didn't come up in the meeting we had in Washington, but you also bring Davidson one of the largest baseball collections on record. And to any students out there who play disc golf, he also committed to me that he will come back on the course and play disc golf with me. I just hope the construction hasn't interrupted a couple of the fairways. Davidson's mission statement captures qualities that our society, our nation, and our world desperately need. Humane instincts, creative and disciplined minds for lives of leadership and service. We see that each year in the graduates who cross the commencement stage. We see it in Washington, in the courageous and thoughtful Davidson interns on Capitol Hill, the committed young graduates advocating for cause and leaders like Anthony Fox, a friend of mine who is here today and who served as mayor of Charlotte and as President Obama's Secretary of Transportation. One of North Carolina's greatest governors, over here to my left, Jim Martin, who is here, not only graduated from Davidson, but he taught chemistry here. In other words, a member of the faculty went on to become a conservative Republican governor. There may be no greater proof that Davidson College truly is a place where anything is possible. Doug, congratulations. And congratulations to Davidson for bringing you home.
Good afternoon. President Hicks, Board of Trustees, Senator Tillis, Mayor Knox, and my Davidson College family. I bring you greetings today as Davidson's Congresswoman, your neighbor, and most importantly, a former college professor. President Hicks, you have my congratulations and those of the United States Congress. We're proud, but not a bit surprised, that after your upbringing in Indiana, your wildcat wanderings to Massachusetts and Virginia and New York and Georgia, you saw the wisdom of returning to North Carolina and to Davidson College. Education is the great equalizer. It opens doors, it unlocks opportunities across generations and across our society. President Hicks, you are a servant leader in a great cause. You've taken the helm of an institution that has made great strides to recognize its own past, to be accountable in the present, and to create both a brighter future and a just and inclusive community for those who step on these grounds. And so I want you to know that I'm behind you and the entire Davidson community. There are many champions for education in Congress, but we frequently face difficult battles in a tense and divided environment. In Washington, self-interest and partisanship can overwhelm the need to do the right thing. Unfortunately, my congressional colleagues are not bound by Davidson's honor code. As a professor, a former professor, 40 years. However, I also have been part of a decision-making on a college campus. Doug, my current job may be easier than yours. So on behalf of the 12th Congressional District of North Carolina, the Greater Charlotte region, and the United States House of Representatives, I congratulate you on the start of your presidency and Davidson's next chapter. Thank you. God bless.
I was told that I was limited to 200 words or less, and those that know me know that's an impossibility. My name's Rusty Knox. I'm the Mayor of Davidson. I bring greetings from the 14,000 plus residents, and I bring welcome to you, Doug. I am proud to be here today representing Davidson. Doug is the 7th Davidson College president that I've known in my lifetime, starting with Frank Spencer's dad, Sam. From the first day I heard Doug address the college and the community, I knew he was the right person at the right time for both Davidson College and for the town of Davidson. The relationships that the two have had has been storied, often confusing, sometimes subtle, but ever present in the day-to-day lives of our town. What I heard from Doug Hicks was a renewed vigor in our heartbeat of our entire community. One not separated by college and town roles, one not separated by geographic locations, and one not blind to color and place. I heard a voice of conviction, a voice of justice and equality, and a voice that belongs here. From the moment I met Doug in my office, the first day he was here, I knew Davidson College had made the right decision. His boundless energy, his willingness to be involved and say yes, not only resonates across the campus, but more importantly, across our town, and it's appreciated and embraced by all. So welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Erica James, and I am the Dean of the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. I wear multiple hats here today, bringing greetings from the world of higher education, serving as Penn's delegate, but most importantly, proudly saluting my dear friend and colleague, your new president, Doug Hicks. And speaking of hats, there's an old saying, sometimes attributed to Oscar Wilde, that you can never be overdressed, Exhibit A, or overeducated, Exhibit B. Looking around today, I think that I have to agree. But more than regalia and degrees, you truly can't ever have too many friends. Doug and I met as dean colleagues at Emory University, but we became close friends during that time. And as I reflect on our journey together, I learned that we shared values and a vision that emerged from the liberal arts education that we both received. Mine as an alumna of Pomona College, and Doug as a graduate of this esteemed institution. As a liberal arts major and as professors and deans, we both recognized and respected the value of unique campuses like this one. We know how colleges like Davidson and Pomona prepare students for lives of engaged citizenship, critical thought, and yes, even professional career possibilities. When I think of Doug and our shared educational experience and our joyful work together, I am reminded of places like Davidson, of those tight-knit liberal arts communities that uniquely position students to meet new friends and develop relationships that will last a lifetime. In Doug, I found a lifelong friend. For many of you here, I know that Doug will assume an equally important role in your lives, since he is one of the most compassionate and present leaders that I know. He isn't just visible on campus. He knows who you are, what you're exulting in, and what you're struggling with. I have no doubt that he will continue to make a far-reaching impact on all people who call Davidson home, the students, the faculty, staff, and the broader community. Congratulations on this momentous occasion, President Hicks. Congratulations, too, to the entire Davidson community, beautifully dressed and exquisitely educated. You've made a brilliant choice. Thank you.
President Hicks, trustees, honored guests, and all members of the Davidson community. My name is Virgil Flood from the class of 1980, and I dare say in this room, it's been said that that is the best class ever. I'm also president of the Alumni Association Board, and it is my honor to be with you today as a representative of the Davidson alumni community. It's also been my honor to collaborate with you, President Hicks, during your first few months as president of this amazing institution. I know you've been busy. In February, we welcomed a passionate group of alums back to campus to celebrate 50 years of the Black Student Coalition and to share aspirations for the future. And we've been closely connected through the work of the Commemoration Committee, including yesterday's phenomenal announcement of the Commemoration Memorial Design Concept, one part of a collective effort to honor our past and embrace the promise of our shared future. This is an important and exciting time to be a member of the Davidson College community. I'm excited about the ways that this wonderful place will continue to become stronger, better, as we build upon the extraordinary work of past leaders. Each and every Wildcat has a unique experience, and we bring to Davidson's future our own personal perspectives, lessons learned, and a genuine love for our alma mater. On behalf of every Davidsonian, I wish you the very best during your presidency. You have an incredible team standing with you every step of the way, a team of loyal, intelligent, caring Wildcats who also believe in the future of Davidson College. We are thrilled to be doing this work alongside you. Congratulations, President Doug Hicks.
President Hicks and assembled guests, of all the members of the Davidson community, none care more about our president in the same way as the families who entrust this place with the education of our young people. We count on the faculty to teach our young people to think rigorously and communicate effectively. We count on staff to provide opportunities that help our young people grow and thrive as whole persons. We count on the president to create the environment that makes everything else possible. To steward a culture that values intellectual curiosity, moral courage, and the inherent value of all human beings. President Hicks, it is because we have such high aspirations for Davidson's president that I bring you warm greetings and congratulations on behalf of all Davidson families. For more than 3 decades, you have demonstrated your steady commitment to leadership grounded in ethics and compassion, to building communities that thrive because they contain different perspectives, not because or not despite those differences, to combining keen intellects with human instincts to create opportunities for all, and to helping young people experience the world so that they understand their place in it. Under your leadership, I am confident that Davidson's best days lie ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome, President Hicks. It is an honor to greet you on behalf of the faculty at Davidson College in my role as Vice Chair of the Faculty Pro Tem. We, the faculty, are a diverse group of more than 200 colleagues, unified by our mission to prepare our students for lives of leadership and service on campus, in the community, and around the globe. Together, with your support, President Hicks, we guide and support our students in their growth as scholars and artists, thinkers, and leaders. Together, we are invested in our students' growth as unique human beings, as members of our community, and as citizens of the world. Together, we, the faculty and staff, our students, and you, our president, embrace our responsibility to critically examine our past and imagine a better future. And between the past and the future, here in the present, we remind ourselves to pursue truth and protect the dignity of ourselves and each other. Today, as we join together to commence a new chapter in Davidson's history, we are especially grateful for the opportunity to celebrate each other, and to celebrate our community of belonging that we so deliberately build and nurture together. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It is my honor to be here today in my role as the Chair of Staff Council to say a few words as we celebrate this new era together. We face great challenges globally and as a campus community, even as we envision a culture of inclusivity and belonging where every member of staff is respected, valued, and empowered. If senior leadership and faculty form the head of our institution and students are the heart of our community, the staff at Davidson are the backbone. We staff support and connect all the different areas of campus, from the beautifully maintained grounds we all enjoy, to the brilliant resource management that supports the realization of so many learning projects, to the delicious food that nourishes us, to the digital networks that connect us to each other and to the world beyond. All of us at Davidson, students, staff, faculty, and senior leadership, seek to make our communities better and more just. If we are going to realize our shared goals, we must continue to break down silos, have difficult conversations, and be proactive in addressing inequities in both our history and our present. The future feels very bright right now, especially due to President Hicks' leadership, to invigorate our sense of community and ability to take us where we aim to go. Thank you.
Says the same thing, don't worry. Before I begin my remarks, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the distinguished speakers who have preceded me, and please join me in giving them a round of applause. Okay, that's enough. Back to me. I can't help but feel like, I imagine this is what a young Steph Curry felt like in games of pickup basketball, trying to hold his own amongst giants, in his case, literal. Thought it was funny. How am I supposed to follow that? They were all so good. But I'll do my best. It worked out for Steph, it can work out for me. So, my name is Ronan Towell. I am student body president. On behalf of the student body, I welcome you to the inauguration of President Doug Hicks. The stately forecasts of good fortune and prosperity presented thus far align with the reaffirmed commitment to invest in what sets Davidson College apart from other institutions. The Davidson difference, if you will. Post-secondary education has the opportunity to make a difference in lives like mine. As an openly gay first-generation college student, I am grateful for the incredible opportunities to travel, conduct research, and participate in this community. To Davidson and the Davidson Trust, I offer humble gratitude. Our community exists under a social contract firmly rooted in accountability. Translated from Latin, our motto is, "Let learning be cherished where liberty has arisen." Liberty thrives when hard truths are shared openly, and vulnerable honesty predominates convenient narratives. Where there is liberty, there is an implicit commitment to accountability. To yield academic success under this guiding principle, students and faculty are held to particular criteria. With the leadership of President Hicks and his administration, we trust that these standards will be elevated to a degree that reflects a safe and virtuous world. So, let's all raise a Doug mug to our new president. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leah Mell. I graduated from this distinguished institution in 2019, and it is such a joy and an honor to be back here. Thank you so much to President Hicks and to the larger Davidson community for having me here today. I will be reading the poem that I wrote for this important occasion. Spring Unraveling. 1. Spring and pale blossoms unfold in the wind. Warm snow globe campus exhales into morning. We are alive here, still. We trace and retrace our ghosts, bricks shaped by brown hands, vital and stolen, land stripped from its caretakers, wounds like roots branching beneath us. Memory is not hindrance, but necessity. The same sun rises above the same trees. The same earth presses us against the same sky. Yesterday, we woke with salt in our mouths and searching. We prayed for a body that knows what it means to take flight, to rise up over the earth and sing. This is imperfect, yes. It is what we have. The wind in our ears, the shivering of wings. 2. The wind in our ears and the shivering of wings hinge open and burst in a southern twilight. Someone is reading Clifton in the library garden. Someone is calculating the mass of a star. We filter into buildings and construct a chorus of greeting, inviting and bright. We are together and by ourselves. Somewhere, a party. Somewhere, a ringing bell. The meaning breaks down again, this time spilling cello concertos and anatomical hearts. We are singing next door. Dusk slips into precedented night. Tomorrow, we will look into the sun. Promise is not enough. 3. Promise is not enough to carry us safely across the lake. We are hesitating at the horizon. We are counting the birds silhouetted in the air, our charming clothes adorning our bodies, in the rupture and imagining. Together, we are sure to amount to something before we fold into the balm of dawn. Our nascent wanting blooms from our chests and explodes. We hold one another's hands, momentary and brilliant. Without a telescope, we can see for miles. Spring unravels from our throats, and pale blossoms unfold in the wind. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Listening to the brass band, I thought we were a Presbyterian school. That was for real. The leaders of Davidson College throughout its history have responded to and met the challenges around them. At its inception, the college's founders sought to expand education beyond the urban elites to farmers and manual laborers who lived outside the cities. Those at the helm of this institution later navigated through near financial ruin and persevered through the ravages of war at home and abroad. Davidson's leaders, belatedly and under pressure, finally fulfilled the promise of the Statement of Purpose and opened the doors to people of color, to women, to people of all faiths. We are joined today by 4 former presidents and the families of others, people responsible for helping guide generations of servant leaders. Among them, they are responsible for allowing the admission of women to an institution that excluded them for 130 years. Creating the Davidson Trust to ensure that a student's ability to pay did not stand in the way of the experience and opportunities that Davidson offers, effectively declaring that income and zip code do not determine talent and courage. Pushing to examine how our own history is intertwined with the institution of slavery and persistent ideas about race. Putting a spotlight on how Davidson, for much of its history, has fallen short of some of the principles we profess. And yesterday, we saw the results of some of that work in the unveiling of plans for a memorial to the enslaved and exploited who labored here. Across our history, our leaders, our presidents, have confronted these hard realities around them. Some saw those mountains when they took the job. Others found the mountains coming towards them. The commonality is this: each was the right person at the right time. And that brings us to today. Our new president, Doug Hicks, stepped into this job a few months ago. And we can name the tough circumstances that, like categories on a TV quiz show, the demands that higher education serve more learners, a more diverse set of learners in more ways and at lower cost than ever before. Our society is so divided by politics that sometimes we don't even share the same facts. That is a challenge. The jobs our graduates seek, sometimes they're going to be different even 4 years from now than we can even imagine today. And rights and freedoms around the world, perhaps even the very idea of democratic understanding, begs our constant defense. It is definitely a moment that requires vigilance and compassion, an understanding of Davidson's traditions and a willingness to step past them when needed to usher in a more just, peaceful, knowledgeable world. A strengthening of the lifelong skills we cultivate so well, and the foresight to expand into unexplored experiences and fields of study. It's a moment that craves hope. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, our 19th president, Doug Hicks, is ready for the job. He studied and taught at some of the most prestigious colleges and universities in the nation, including this one. The work to which he has devoted his life rings with the foundational commitment of Davidson. From his senior thesis at Davidson on poverty in Charlotte to his doctoral dissertation at Harvard on a theologically informed approach to inequality. He pushed the University of Richmond in creating their Center for Civic Engagement at a time when higher education was only starting to contemplate such endeavors. Doug and a colleague at Emory University led the efforts to memorialize enslaved laborers who helped build that institution. He has also co-created Emory's program to more clearly map out career paths for liberal arts graduates. These projects distinctively prepared him for his return to Davidson. Since arriving on campus, Doug has wasted no time in establishing his appreciation for the strength of our community and the limitless opportunities that lie ahead. He has already met with 100 faculty members toward a commitment to meet with each and every one of them. Students have listened to him as a guest speaker in class and found themselves on the other side or perhaps the losing end of a ping pong match with Doug, as well as an occasional cart ride. Our admission tour guides who have shepherded groups of prospective students across campus can sometimes compare notes when their tour has been interrupted by Doug coming and saying hello. He has traveled to 10 cities, from Boston to Los Angeles, to meet with our alumni, our friends, and our families, and events in San Francisco and Washington, D.C. are forthcoming. Doug, as Senator Tillis and Congresswoman Adams and probably Governor Martin over there can attest, Washington could definitely use your help, but we're glad you're here at Davidson. We're excited and proud that you have returned home. The commitments and accomplishments of your past and the enthusiasm and engagement you have demonstrated in the present uniquely equip you to lead Davidson on the path that lies ahead. Now, Allison Hall Mosé, Chair of the Board of Trustees, will lead the installation of our new president, and I would like to ask Catherine, Noah, and Ada to come join us.
It is my honor to now present Douglas A. Hicks for inauguration as the 19th president of Davidson College. I'd like to ask our 4 former presidents in attendance with us today, John Kirkendall, Robert Vaught, Thomas Ross, and Carol Quillen, to please stand in support. And I'd like to ask Douglas Hicks to please join me at the podium. President Hicks, please repeat after me. I, Douglas Allen Hicks, do solemnly swear.
I, Douglas Allen Hicks, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and diligently carry out
that I will faithfully and diligently carry out
the office of President of Davidson College.
The office of President of Davidson College.
And in doing so will assume responsibility.
And in doing so will assume responsibility.
For achieving, affirming, and upholding.
For achieving, affirming, and upholding.
The statement of purpose of the college.
The statement of purpose of the college.
That in accordance with this statement of purpose.
That in accordance with the statement of purpose.
I will do all within my power to assist students.
To do all within my power to assist students.
In developing humane instincts.
In developing humane instincts.
And disciplined and creative minds.
And disciplined and creative minds.
for lives of leadership and service.
for lives of leadership and service.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I declare Douglas Allen Hicks is the 19th president of Davidson College.
Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Allison. I'm profoundly grateful to the Presidential Search Committee and to the Board of Trustees for entrusting me with this role. It is the honor of a lifetime to be able to come back and lead this college, my alma mater. Thank you to the Inauguration Planning Committee for designing such an excellent series of events. You've brought intellectual depth, creativity, and even Doug mugs to campus. So many staff colleagues have made this event possible, from the facilities team that set up banners and flags across campus, to those who helped coordinate the visits of so many alumni and guests to our beautiful campus. Thank you so much for all that you do for Davidson. Thank you to the Davidson faculty and staff whose hard work and dedication shape the lives of so many students. On a personal note, I would like to thank my Davidson mentors, some of whom are present in this arena, others on live stream, and your presence makes this occasion so much more meaningful to me. Thank you. Former presidents, John Kirkendall, my president, Bobby Vaught, Tom Ross, Carol Quillen, I am grateful for your presence today, and we all thank you for your leadership and collective 4 decades of service to this institution. Thank you so much. Learning from predecessors as wise and as gracious as you have been has made this transition for me easier and smoother than it might otherwise have been. Parents and family members who are here with us this weekend, thank you for your vital part in supporting our community. To the Hicks and Bagwell families, including my brothers and my father who is here from Indiana, especially my spouse and Professor Catherine Bagwell, and our kids Noah and Ada, thank you so much for your support, for supporting the Davidson community and this Davidsonian in particular. Thank you. Yeah, they deserve a round. This gathering is made more extraordinary by the public officials, by the delegates and friends who have come from far and wide to be part of this ceremony. We share a common commitment to educating the next generation and to pursuing knowledge, and thank you for your presence. Alumni from the class of 1952 up to the class of 2022, thank you for being here. Our alumni base spans across the world and across 8 generations, 8 decades. And a big shout out of appreciation. Are there any current Davidson students here? Davidson friends, today we don't just inaugurate me, we inaugurate our shared future. So we have to ask, given that we are looking forward, why in the world are so many of us wearing ancient medieval robes? I suggest that we cannot properly envision the future unless we adequately and truthfully examine where we've come from. In religious studies, we speak a lot about tradition. Tradition is about inheriting something important and passing it forward from one generation to the next. Tradition is a bucket brigade. It is a relay race. Yet, unlike a simple bucket or baton, with tradition, each person adds their own interpretation of what is handed to them and what they hand forward based on their own experiences. The philosopher Alasdair MacIntyre captures this sense of ongoing change, defining tradition as an extended argument over time among members of a community who are constantly shaping and reshaping that tradition. This past August 28th, I met with the entire first-year class and transfer students in the Duke Family Performance Hall. The students were there to enact one of our most cherished traditions, to sign the honor code. Before they each wrote their name, I gave a talk on the meanings of honor, and the students made it a lively conversation, shouting out comments about Aristotle and Rousseau, Michel Foucault, and our own alum, Clint Smith. And the honor council members, the sophomores, juniors, and seniors who steward the honor code, they took this solemn ceremony and they turned it into a celebration. They offered snacks and drinks after the solemn signing in the lobby. And the chair of the Honor Council, Michael Yen, he baked brownies for the entire first-year class. That's what I call a delicious twist on tradition. Come to think of it, a lot of our Davidson traditions seem to revolve around the community and around food. The cake race, gift baskets given by bigs to littles in eating houses, and faculty sharing meals with students in Vail Commons and in faculty members' home. These are great traditions. All of this adds up to Davidson as a grand tradition that shapes humane instincts and creative, disciplined minds for lives of leadership and service. We embrace this enduring purpose while knowing that it's going to look different over time. Who belongs to the Davidson tradition? Who is excluded? How do we ensure that all members have a say in its future? I'm so proud that Davidson is answering these questions thoughtfully and with intention. The oldest part of our campus includes Phi and U Halls and Oak and Elm Row, historic buildings mentioned in the inaugural program and etched into our college mace. These buildings are made of bricks fashioned from the red clay of this area. Our own researchers involved in the commemoration project have observed that these bricks were created by hand. They are very soft and they're quite rough. There's something else remarkable about these earliest campus buildings, including the President's house. On the bricks, you can see and touch indentations, the outlines of thumbs that shape the bricks. These are the thumbprints of the enslaved laborers who built Davidson's original campus. These persons were part of this community, yet they didn't experience the dignity of membership. They suffered the dehumanization of slavery in local plantations. We are now engaged in the shared initiative to acknowledge these founders of the college, founders of our college, to name their vital place in the Davidson tradition. Yesterday, we unveiled plans for an exciting an important commemoration memorial to honor enslaved people and others whose labor was exploited. A truthful account of our past is crucial for building a dynamic, hopeful future. We are adding new faculty and curricular areas to understand equality, justice, and community. We have initiated a partnership with the Catawba Nation, beginning with the Unshadowed Land Project, which has planted indigenous Catawba corn on our campus. We will expand community partnerships in the greater Charlotte region, including our special connection, supported by the Duke Endowment, with Johnson C. Smith University. For me, the Davidson tradition has always been about expanding our worldview and sense of community. Nearly 4 decades ago, in 1986, I arrived at Davidson from Indiana in our family minivan. My mother and I moved my stuff into Belk. It's actually not very far from where I live now. In classrooms and offices in Chambers, faculty like Charlie Ratliff, Clark Ross, David Kaler, and Sandy Kemp opened my mind both to what is possible in the ideal realm and what social realities keep people and communities from reaching that ideal. My Davidson education led me to frame the key question of my professional life. How do we shift our focus away from human deficits and human deprivation to build our human capabilities? How do we talk about what is possible for a well-lived life and overcome those deficits or what we lack individually or as communities? I came to see religion and economics as lenses to promoting human well-being. In that sense, religious studies and economics are disciplines of hope. From inspiring holy texts like the Psalms to stories of faith in action such as Joanne Robinson's memoir of the Montgomery bus boycott, it's not hard to see the hope in religion. As for the so-called dismal science, the pioneers of economics believe that alleviating poverty, quoting Alfred Marshall, gave to economic studies their chief and their highest interest. Whether one could live a cultured life free from the pains of poverty, that's what gives economic studies their chief and their highest interest. For any liberal arts education in any field to go beyond understanding our world to shaping it, we need hope. We dare to hope for a future more equitable and humane with less suffering and division than the present. We dare to believe that Davidson's high educational purpose plays a key role in bettering ourselves and the world we live in. Yet, like handcrafted bricks, we are all a little rough and imperfect. From the Reformed tradition comes the idea that only God is perfect, and we humans always fall short. H. Richard Niebuhr writes that progress towards justice often occurs not because of human actions, but despite them. Our human fallibility, not to mention finitude, strike a cautionary note on what we can achieve. It calls us to humility in leadership. Niebuhr's observation also compels us to be skeptical of those grand narratives, those easy stories of how history happens. One of those narratives is one of constant progress, inevitable progress. This myth of progress, deeply embedded in modern Western thought, asserts that each society is superior to those that came before it. In an educational enterprise, we are drawn to this idea of progress, seeking new ways of teaching and advances in knowledge. And we see the moral, medical, and economic developments that give us reason for hope. Yet let us beware of the assumption that new ideas are always superior to old ones, an assumption that can lead us to moral superiority. At its worst, it contributes to a marginalization of older people and a devaluation of their wisdom. The preference for the new over the old is also tied to consumerism, to planned obsolescence of products, to fast fashion. with devastating impacts on the environment. Artificial intelligence, AI, is already affecting the human experience, and we are grappling with both its technological and moral questions here at Davidson. Let us critically evaluate and create progress, not based on innovation alone, but on the standard of how deploying innovation does or does not promote humane ends. In contrast to the story of progress stands another grand narrative. This one is the story of loss and decay, of moral and social decline. We hear that some earlier era was more peaceable, respectful, orderly, or fair. In educational institutions, it can be heard in laments about grade inflation, or that students don't read books anymore, that they are afraid to share their true beliefs, or that the pandemic has eroded their capacities to learn. Now, these topics deserve attention and understanding about what is really going on or whether it's going on at all. But the narrative of decline often overlooks the reality that any earlier period was far less inclusive than our world is today. If there was less perceived dissent or more perceived civic unity in another time, some earlier time, we must acknowledge that some voices were not being heard in those earlier times. Davidson opened our doors to black students in the 1960s and fully to women students in the 1970s. 5 decades later, we are now a far stronger college, a better community, because our student body, faculty, and staff now more fully reflect U.S. society and the world. Our commitment to access and affordability, embodied in the Davidson Trust, is a high moral purpose, and we must remain committed to full belonging and success for all students who make Davidson such a vibrant place for learning. So our historical storyline, like the campus bricks and like ourselves, is rough. It includes step forward, some backward, and often not as quickly as we would like. Let us embrace a story neither of pure progress nor decline. Instead, let us envision and embody a dynamic Davidson. Ours is a living tradition that embraces the tension between continuity and change. It strives to be responsive to the educational needs of our students in every era, preparing them for their individual and shared futures. As we emerge from the pandemic, we are filled with a sense of gratitude for community. Our classrooms and campus are vibrant, enlivened by faculty who love what they do and students who are eager to learn. Yet, without a doubt, campus conversations are sometimes rocky. Faculty meetings, student debates, alumni association discussions occasionally get heated. Why? Because we are imperfect people with rough edges, and, just as important, because we are doing the hard work of critical reflection and mutual engagement. At Davidson, we embrace our tradition of being able to tackle the hardest questions. Students work alongside staff mentors to develop their capacity to lead. Our arts program opens a new world of moral imagination. Competing in athletics at the highest national level, and I see many jerseys and practice jerseys and uniforms here today. It prepares us competing at this highest national level, Division I of the NCAA. It readies us to persevere in the face of defeat and to win graciously and often. You do all of that today. At a time when some seem to take pride in polarization, let us be known as a college focused less on winning arguments and more on listening to and learning from each other. I said earlier that my 2 forms of intellectual training, religion and economics, are disciplines of hope. I believe that hope is central to all that we do in the liberal arts and all that we do at Davidson. Hope isn't the same thing as optimism. Optimism is seeing the world as better than it is. Hope sees the world exactly as it is and yet is able to envision and then work for a better future. With the late Rabbi, Lord Jonathan Sacks, I view hope as active, something that requires a great deal of work and a healthy dose of courage in the face of what we see today. Or let's say it a little differently. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. differentiates magic hope from realistic hope. Magic hope involves sitting around, waiting for something miraculously to change. But it doesn't change if we just sit around. Realistic hope requires much from us. Critical thinking skills, social analysis, organizational prowess, the ability to motivate others, moral imagination. Those are the liberal arts disciplines. Those are the liberal arts components of hope. In both philosophical and religious worldviews, hope is a virtue, but it's more than that. Hope is a practice, an active daily practice, a way of being in the world. We exercise our critical thinking skills to analyze, to understand the world. Then we exercise our moral imagination to envision something better and to believe that no problem is too big or intractable to solve. Then we exercise our courageous resilience and we get to work. In the coming academic year, we will undertake strategic planning to prepare for our shared future. We'll do so with respect for a dynamic tradition and in the spirit of hope. To realize our high ideals, we can and we must continue to expand access and affordability, transform our library and academic programs for the digital age, build new ties across the town of Davidson and the greater Charlotte region, advance our athletics program and support scholar athletes amid dizzying changes in the NCAA, forge smoother pathways from our liberal arts curriculum into the ever-changing global workplace, and model an inclusive campus culture in which conflicting ideas are not feared but embraced in the interest of learning. When I meet people across campus or across the country, I see hope personified. I see it in practice. Students, your generation is questioning our work practices and structures in order to have a more humane workplace. You are learning how to manage quantities of data that are magnitudes greater than anything that our generations had to deal with. You are fed up with inequalities, injustices, and division, and we feed off of your energy. We feed off of your hope. I see hope in the Davidson Disability Alliance, whose students educate the community on disability as a culture and identity, and imagine improvements that make our campus more accessible for everyone. I see hope in the students in the justice class taught by Pico Edwuzi and Michelle Kuchera, who ask tough questions of their professor, their president, and each other about what they value. I see hope in this faculty, this magnificent faculty, sitting in their academic robes for the ways they share their knowledge far beyond Davidson, through textbooks, monographs, articles often co-authored with students, exhibitions, digital resources, creative works. I gain hope as I walk around this beautiful campus and view the care with which the physical plan and dining services and art gallery teams cultivate an environment conducive to deep thinking and spiritual and moral growth. I see hope in the Davidson community members who have incredibly welcomed Ukrainian refugees and students. Hope in the Bonner Scholars who serve local agencies, schools, and people in poverty. I see hope in graduates who use their talents to improve public health, and alumnus who developed blood tests to detect viruses and improve drug dosages, and alumna who welcome students into her lab to discover new ways to fight neonatal infections. I experience hope in this loyal alumni body, some 25,000 strong, who year after year rank in the top 5 colleges and universities in the world for engagement and giving in the annual fund. We are indeed a living tradition, as engaged as any alumni group in the country, connected across the years, connected to this special place. I see hope in our shared commitment to freedom of expression, reflected in a statement drafted by Davidsonians diverse in identities and convictions, a living document that has been affirmed now by the faculty and, yesterday, the Board of Trustees. We are called to be a dynamic Davidson. A dynamic Davidson. We will soon celebrate the commencement of the class of 2023. Even on the other side, we are already welcoming the class of 2027, whose minivans and Ubers and Lyfts will arrive this August. Each of us will play a part. On one side, finalizing diplomas and recommendations for our graduates, meanwhile preparing courses, financial aid packages, and residence halls for our newest members. This is how we hold together continuity and change, how we build upon our proud yet imperfect tradition. Davidson friends, today we inaugurate our shared future, and I am so honored to lead in that process. Thank you for entrusting this position to me.
Now that you all just sat down, I'll ask you to rise and body your spirit for the benediction. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Eternal One bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'kuneka. May God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha shalom. May the divine presence be with you and grant you peace. Amen. Please stay standing for the alma mater.
Yes,